an honest Christian here to encourage you to pursue the smile by prioritizing the Lord, physical health, and persistent education. And this space that we're in right now is called the Secret Heart Club. Sing it with me. Welcome to the Secret Heart Club. Everyone does their part to bring love, be loved. Hey, we love Jesus at the Secret Heart Club. All right. Well, it's July. July has 31 days. And you know what else has 31 days? Proverbs. Been talking about it for a while. We've been doing God's promises for at least a month now. And I thought we would take a break from that and start or maybe interrupt with Proverbs just for the month of July. So without further ado, it is the 2nd of July. It is the 2nd of the month, and we're going to read Proverbs 2. And I want to encourage you to listen along. We will read through Proverbs 2 and then backtrack with the commentary and then wrap it up for the night. You ready? And a 1, and a 2, and a 1, 2, 3. Okay, here we go. The moral benefits of wisdom. Proverbs 2. My son, if you accept my words and store up my commands within you, turning your ear to wisdom and applying your heart to understand. Indeed, if you call out for insight and cry aloud for understanding, and if you look for it as for silver and search for it as for hidden treasure, then you will understand the fear of the Lord and will find the knowledge of God. For the Lord gives wisdom. From his mouth come knowledge and understanding. He holds success in store for the upright. He is a shield to those whose walk is blameless, for he guards the course of the just and protects the way of his faithful ones. Then you will understand what is right and just and fair, every good path. For wisdom will enter your heart, and knowledge will be pleasant to your soul. Discretion will protect you, and understanding will guard you. Wisdom will save you from the ways of wicked men, from men whose words are perverse, who have left the straight paths to walk in dark ways, who delight in doing wrong and rejoice in the perverseness of evil, whose paths are crooked and who are devious in their ways. Wisdom will save you also from the adulterous woman, from the wayward woman with her seductive words, who has left the partner of her youth and ignored the covenant she made before God. Surely her house leads down to death, and her paths to the spirits of the dead. None who go to her return or attain the paths of life. Thus, you will walk in the ways of the good and keep to the paths of the righteous. For the upright will live in the land, and the blameless will remain in it. But the wicked will be cut off from the land, and the unfaithful will be torn from it. And so ends Proverbs 2. I'm going to cycle back with a little bit of commentary. We're going to, I'm just going to, see. Hi, Grayson. Is this the same Grayson that I know? TJ and Trent are the best. Hello. Vani Pookie. Yes, I'm reading Proverbs, which is in the Old Testament. It is filled with just good wisdom from the Lord. Hi, Misty. All right, let's circle back with the commentary. Again, we're in Proverbs 2. These are the moral benefits of wisdom. And I will say this, I say this from time to time. I was donating plasma, and I'm pretty bold in my faith, right? And the guy, the phlebotomist, was like, well, I don't need a book to tell me to be kind. And I thought to myself, I do, right? You know, I told you guys, I have these neighbors that are just loud, and I'm like, I was so annoyed with them, and blah 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 blah. And I think the average person, right, would like go over there and be like, hey, can you keep it down, or can you do, or they would confront them in some type of way or whatever. And maybe at some other point when I'm not like tuned into the spirit, that could be me too. But I prayed about it, and I pray for them, and I talk to the Lord, talk about the Lord to them. And I decided a better way to go about it is to bake them a cake. And when I kind of processed it as they're in the image of God, right? Like they're not like doing anything insidious. They're not, I'm not being attacked in any way. Someone's just maybe louder than I would prefer them to be. And so does that really warrant me? Does that really warrant anger or what have you? And so in that regard, it is biblical wisdom that kind of dictated my actions of extending kindness instead of anger. So anyway, Proverbs 2, the moral benefits of wisdom. And we'll read the commentary. My son, if you accept my words and store up my commands within you, turning your ear toward wisdom and applying your heart to understanding. Indeed, if you call out for insight and cry aloud for understanding, and if you look for it as for silver and search for it as for hidden treasure, then you will understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God. For the Lord gives wisdom. From his mouth come knowledge and understanding. The commentary: wisdom comes in two ways. It is both a God-given gift and the result of diligent searching. Wisdom's starting point is God and his revealed word, the source of knowledge and understanding. In that sense, wisdom is God's gift to us. But he gives wisdom only to those who earnestly seek it. Because God's wisdom stays hidden from the rebellious and foolish, it requires effort to find it and use it. Because if we're being honest, we really just want to be doing what we want to be doing. And sometimes we don't really care what the Lord has to say about it. Like, let's be honest, whether you're a believer or you're not, you want to be on your own time, right? And the Lord, who gives us free will, is like, all right, if you want to go down there with Buki and them, then go on and go. I gave you the Holy Spirit. I gave you discernment. I gave you wisdom through my word that Buki and them are doing X, Y, and Z, and that is against my will. But if you want to go on and go. And sometimes, you guys know, like sometimes in life, we're like, Lord, why? And within these pages, he'll tell you why. Maybe you don't want to hear it, and that's a different story. Why am I suffering like I am? There's a word for that. There's a word for that. But sometimes we don't really want to hear it. The pathway to wisdom is strenuous. But it is only on God's path that we discover his true and reliable wisdom. He will guide us to it and reward our sincere and persistent search. Verse 7, he holds success in store, verse 6, for the Lord gives wisdom. From his mouth come knowledge and understanding. He holds success in store for the upright. He is a shield to those whose walk is blameless. Commentary: God gives us wisdom and victory, but not for drifting through life or acting irresponsibly with his gifts and resources. And we're seeing this in the news right now. But people are like, oh, I'm a millionaire. Pop bottles, twerk, twerk, twerk. And it's like, the Lord didn't bless. That's not what you were supposed to be doing with your talent, Miss Ma'am or Sir. If we are faithful to him and keep his purpose for us clearly in mind, his wisdom will become a shield against foolish temptations and allow us to focus on a life of integrity. Hello, Jeffrey. I want to say hi, Jeffrey. Hi, Misty. My day went better as it went. At the end of the day gonna end. Okay. Shout out to Glorilla. All right. Verse 8, for he guards the course of the just and protects the way of his faithful ones. Then you will understand what is right and just and fair, every good path, because we're out here like, God hates me. And it's like, have you looked through the situation that you're upset about through the lens of wisdom? Then you will understand what is right and just and fair, every good path. For wisdom will enter your heart and knowledge will be pleasant to your soul. The commentary, we gain wisdom through a constant process of growing. We grow in wisdom as we do 4 things. Number 1, we must trust and honor God. Number 2, we must realize that the Bible reveals God's wisdom to us. Number 3, we must make a lifelong series of good choices and avoid decisions that compromise our integrity. And number 4, when we make sinful or mistaken choices, we must learn from our errors and recover. People don't develop all aspects of wisdom all at once. You could imagine arrogance may come from that. I know everything. Man, I don't know if we really want to deal with somebody like that. For example, some people have more insight than discretion. Others have more knowledge than common sense. Wouldn't you know, when I was little, my mother used to tell me, Lakeitha, you have all the book smarts, but no street smarts. But we can pray to receive all aspects of wisdom and take the steps to develop all of them. The end result will be true joy and a life well lived. Okay, say it twice. The end result will be true joy in a life well lived. Proverbs 2 verse 11, discretion will protect you and understanding will guard you. Wisdom will save you from ways of wicked men, from men whose words are perverse, who have left the straight paths to walk in dark ways, who delight in doing wrong and rejoice in the perverseness of evil, whose paths are crooked and who are devious in their ways. Let me tell you something. I was thinking about this earlier. Twice in my life, I had jobs where my coworkers conspired to get me fired. And the thing about some people is that they will smile in your face. Hey, Pablo. Some people will smile in your face and be seeking to destroy you. And what I was thinking about that earlier actually was like, I think to try to get somebody fired is a special kind of evil because, and especially at the time I had kids, you don't like a thing about a person. They didn't assault you. They didn't come for your job. It's more of like a personality conflict. And because somebody doesn't like your personality, they strive to take away your housing and the food that you eat. That's a particular kind of evil. And I didn't really like, I left a church, not the church, but I used to go to a church. And I worked at a organization with one of the ladies at my church. And she would smile in my face at work, and she was actively trying to get me fired. And every week my supervisor would be like, you know, so-and-so said you did these things. And I'd have to pull out receipts because I wasn't doing what she was saying. But she was like watching me like a hawk because I'm really friendly. And she's not like, she's just kind of I don't, this isn't conjecture. I just know more about her. She was just a miserable person and didn't like my joy and how I carried myself, and that our clients preferred me over her. That's the truth. So anyway, we went to the same church, and she ended up getting promoted in the church to director of women's, or like director of women's ministry. And I haven't told that story because I know some people, I know it. Some people would just be like, well, Lakeitha, if she's the director of, you know, you're called to give grace and forgive people. And my thing is this: if I'm meant to be under your leadership in the church, and you have a proven track record of literally attempting to make me homeless and starving, I cannot trust you at all. And then the Lord gave me this thing called discernment. And you guys know too, whenever somebody moves like that, they're hostile or they're two-faced or whatever, other people around them know it as well. And for whatever reason, they're just not calling the person out on it. And so I have nothing against the church that I used to go to, nothing against it at all. But what I'm saying is, I can't be the only one that has seen these behaviors, because these are like major, you don't mess with people who don't, and you guys don't know me from anything, right? You don't, but I really don't go messing with people. And it really was a personality conflict, and that I'm just like loud and happy. It really, you know what I mean? And so that's why I left the church, is because I can't trust you. And because you have prestige in the church, you're going to be protected anyway. Somebody said, well, you should go to church leadership about it. We're adults and we've been around for a while. You know how it kind of plays out, is just like, oh, okay, like we'll look into it or whatever. Nothing really happens, and that's fine. And I'm not a big like conflict person, or like let's kick up dust just because I'm not happy. So I just left very, very quietly. I'm actually still a member there. I need to like not be a member there so I could be a member somewhere else. But I say all that to say, sometimes people are like plotting against you. And I also, just in my defense, after I left that job, both my supervisor and the executive director confirmed everything I just told you. So it wasn't like I knew it, but then it was confirmed, right? And so anyway, people plot. But the wisdom of it is I separated. I got up out there. Even more happened past that. So just to repeat that, Proverbs 2, wisdom will save you from the ways of wicked men, from men whose words are perverse, who have left the straight paths to walk in dark ways, who delight in doing wrong and rejoice in the perverseness of evil, whose paths are crooked and who are devious in their ways. Let's back it up here. Ben says, deception is a trait of Satan. Exactly. Deception is a trait of Satan. I see I have top fans. I'm not sure what that means at all. But Ben and Pablo are number 2s. I don't know what that means. Jaka. Hey, Jaka. All right. Jeffrey's still here. Jeffrey says, real name is Merrick because I'm on my dad's phone because my phone is lost. Hi, Merrick. Welcome. And Jaka says, yeah, I got kicked out of a Bible study for no reason. I couldn't believe it. And Jeffrey says, dang, that's just messed up. That place might be darned. Yeah, I think, and this has kind of been my consistent issue in the brick and mortar church setting, that I kind of have to like use discernment when I'm talking about, or because I don't want people outside of the church to get in a different impression. But I also, I really want other Christians to know that they're not alone in these experiences and to keep pursuing Christ. Do you know what I'm saying? Jaka says Satan goes after those who threatening most. Yeah, actually, when I started the Secret Heart Club, or when I started live streaming, I had 3 separate people tell me the devil's going to attack you in one way or another because you keep spreading the Lord's name and you're just like consistent in this content. And I have to think about that every time I kind of break into a bit of depression or something like that. You know, it's true. I think there is a lot of spiritual warfare in my life. And I think my life would be easier if I did not have a Christian channel. And that's another subject for another time. But I really believe like if I wasn't so bold in Christ, my life would be easier than it is. Ben says it ranks by number of chats. Oh, so Jaka's number 3. Excellent. But it took yours away, man. All right, we're going to go to Proverbs 2, verse 16. Wisdom will save you also from the, I don't know why, I shouldn't have looked at the camera like that. Can we run it back? You know how it rewinds? Proverbs 2, verse 16. Wisdom will save you also from the adulterous woman, from the wayward woman with her seductive words, who has left the partner of her youth and ignored the covenant she made before God. Commentary: 2 of the most difficult sins to resist are pride and sexual immorality. I feel like I've been talking about this more and more lately. Both are seductive. Pride whispers, you deserve it. Sexual desire demands, you need it. In combination, their appeal is deadly. Pride appeals to the empty head, sexual enticement to the empty heart. By looking at God, we can fill our heads with his wisdom and our hearts with his love. Ask God daily to fill you with his wisdom and love so that there will be little room inside you for these temptations to take root and grow. Don't be fooled. Remember what God says about who you are and what you were meant to be. Verse 18, surely her house this is the adulterous woman. Surely her house leads down to death and her paths to the spirit of the dead. None who go to her return or attain the paths of life. Do you guys remember a few years ago, Mike Pence, who was the vice president at the time, he was like, he will not take any meetings with women alone. And people who don't understand this concept of lust and impropriety were so up in arms about it. And to me, was I a believer? I don't even know if I was a believer at the time. But I was like, well, yeah, you're a high-powered man. And regardless of who the woman is, if you're married, you do just want to avoid salacious situations. And I've even told, I don't talk to married men. Like if I'm single or I'm unmarried. If I am talking to a married man and I will probably only talk to him with his wife present. Definitely no kind of touching. I really like maybe a quick handshake, but no, I don't hug a married man. I don't crack a joke at a married man. I just don't, and I could be attracted to him or not, and he could be attracted to me or not. But that's really not the point, is that you do, as a married person, need to guard your heart against just lustful thoughts. And a single woman, they say, like, we don't have to, like, we're not accountable for a married man's actions, and we're all accountable to one another. How would it be, I'm leading you to Christ, married man, if I'm standing all close to you? I shouldn't even know what you smell like. I don't think we take that seriously enough. Do you know what I'm saying? And even single men, I had somebody ask me, how does a man know if you're attracted to him? And I'm like, well, I would just, that was like such a good question to me. Like, how would he know? And it's like, I think maybe just giving my attention. I don't know. But that adulterous woman part, you don't want to get caught up in that. You don't want to get caught up in it. Because it leads to death. Surely her house leads down to death, and her paths to the spirits of the dead. None who go to her return or attain the paths of life. Thus you will walk in the ways of the good and keep to the paths of the righteous. For the upright will live in the land, and the blameless will remain in it. Okay? But the wicked will be cut off from the land, and the unfaithful will be torn from it. Get out of here. Get out of here. All right. Well, this was Proverbs 2 on day 2 of this month. For people in the future who are watching this, whatever month you might be in. Tomorrow's Thursday. It is food truck day, but I'm going to pre-record Proverbs 3 and release it at some point during the day. And it'll be the most awesomest thing you've ever seen in your entire life. Praise God. I am ThreePlusKei. I am just an honest Christian here to encourage you to pursue the smile by prioritizing the Lord, your physical health, and persistent education. I very kindly and humbly ask you to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. And with that, baby, I'll talk to you later.